Okay, so hello and welcome back to the Bence podcast. This is Party with my friend Botond Takacs. So I just want to quickly mention, maybe I was wrong. It won't be 1080p. I don't know. I thought if it's less than an hour, it's going to be 1080p, but apparently it's only 2070 or 720p. I don't know what's going on. I thought we might do just like a better quality video, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, we were talking about how much religion has helped with the development of humanity, especially the Judeo-Christian values around Europe and Northern America and somewhere around the world. And I don't know, shall we continue with religion? I know you had some unfinished thoughts. Maybe you want to...
It's just my idea was much more like... My point was much more like due to the fact that the way I see the world is that I think whoever lives in the Western world, they have the best of their life, no matter what is your color of your skin or what is your gender. And it doesn't matter, and it's not a good way to put it, but, as a woman, you would much rather live, in Europe, let's say, than you would live in a country like, I don't know, China, for example, or the Middle East or whatever, or Africa for that matter, because here you have
Africa
the most possibilities and but still, I mean, no matter what you put, let's say South Africa, you still don't have those same freedoms that you would enjoy even in Slovakia or Hungary or Bulgaria as a woman, for example, as you would anywhere else in the world.
But do you reckon maybe once, I don't know about the future, but let's say once those countries catch up with the rest of the world and they realize that they might be better off if they, they start this new way of thinking that, I mean, it's pretty safe to say that women are half the population, so they shouldn't be ignored and treated as they are lower ranked or I understand why it was or why it used to be this way, back in the day and hundreds of years ago, but it's so strange as humanity progresses and the world and society, culture, and everything progresses. I wouldn't say everything becomes the same, but it still mirrors kind of how people behave.
It gets better, basically. Yes, I think that is very, very true. Especially, it is true in a sense that everything is gonna become much more equal when you look at actually economies in a way. So the richer a society gets, the more equalities it is giving out, because women are, for example, able to purchase things. Then this is exactly how the suffragette started out in England, that women were actually paying taxes, and it was like no representation without taxation, right? So the richer you get, in a way, this is the biggest enabler of freedoms and equality.
Yeah, I agree.
And also capitalism. I mean, it is incredibly so important for freedoms to be present, because you don't have any freedom or democracy without capitalism.
This is I think maybe Churchill said this, but why agree as well? Democracy and capitalism is not the best, but it's the least worst.
Least worst, exactly. Yeah. So, and I really agree with it. I mean, let's say if you just look at I don't know, China, for example, how much it has improved over the years. It has been especially because they have eased up on a lot of things that you could say, but it's a socialist country, blah blah blah. It's not really. I mean,
no, it's
whenever a socialist country tries to improve their economies, they let a little bit more capitalism in. And you could really see, I mean, China, that's why it's becoming so rich, because they enabled capitalism and free trade.
It also struggles, I think, because they want to take on the good parts in both sides. They want to take the good in socialism. So they have a central government what says what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And also they take the good sides of like capitalism. And also like it's so funny because they were not as developed as the United States and England and Europe. So they came later into the same phase what in like the United States used to be like 150 years ago. So they try what they do now is go to Africa, give them a lot of like money to build up projects, unpayable loans. Yes. So they like this is a new form of imperialism. This is how 100%. Like they give them unpayable like debts. And that's how they're going to take over Africa and all this sort of... I think they are smart. And
especially when you look at Europe now, countries like Italy, Hungary, I think there was like some crazy study done that like I think China is owing Europe's ports, like 60% of all the ports in Europe are owned by Chinese.
Yeah. And because there are a lot of people in China and also India. India is going to catch up soon and Pakistan as well. And well, they are a nuclear power. You cannot deny that they are like they are Indians but Muslim. So,
but there is so that is the big difference, right? That India has such a bigger advantage compared to Pakistan because they are not Muslims. There is just a bigger enabler of half the population, as you said. I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson who said that the biggest waste of humanity was that we only enabled only half the population to study and be smart. And I think that is such a true idea and such a true quote.
Yeah. Well, I just find it strange how like all these countries, like China, like it's I never been. I only seen pictures, but you can if you don't look at the pollution. All you see is high rises and buildings, highly dense cities.
That's also a little bit, you have to think in perspective. Imagine England when it started to become industrious and they started to burn coals. England was, especially London, was a disgusting place and it was really difficult to live in and there was a lot of health problems. But as the industry got better and people got more rich, they actually started to demand cleaner air. So as China is entering its God knows which part of its economy, but it is becoming more and more rich and more efficient the way it does things. So obviously it is going to become much more cleaner in the future. Yeah. So I don't think that just because the way it is right now, there's a huge industrious revolution going on in China. So it was the same in the US, the same in Britain, the same all over the world. So it's just the time of China to do the same things that all of these other huge powerhouses did back in the day.
And also they can, because like England has went through the Industrial Revolution, like all these countries what are coming to this phase now, they can just skip a shit ton of like trial and error. Yeah. They know what works and that's how they're going to do it. And like they can skip so much that they're going to have such a jump start in like in everything because of this, that they didn't have to go through so many phases. They can just boom, that's it. Well, once you have money, they have good quality of life. And also like maybe in 100 years made in China will be something as to look up upon, like, oh wow, it's made in China, so it's going to be good quality. Yeah. And then manufacturing will move to India, and then India will grow out its cheap labor phase, and then all these jobs will go or move to, I don't know, like the Congo or Kenya or whatever, and it's so strange.
Or actually it could just move all the way back to their own countries, because we see now there's a huge trend because of what happened of the coronavirus. That a lot of companies are pulling out of China and putting their manufacturing back in their own respective countries. You can also see that because of automation, there is going to be actually not too big of a need for cheap labor. Not in that sense, right? Like, That's going to be a really interesting topic, I think, in like 5-10 years when 5G rolls out and you have self-driving cars and like real self-driving
Did you
cars.
know 5G caused the coronavirus? Have you heard?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
actually,
there are a few countries in the world that have 5G. Yeah, coronavirus is everywhere. Like, can you believe it? Like 5G is everywhere.
No, but I love that people,
So
go
stupid.
to like these protests and then they are recording with the 4G phones how 5G is going to kill them.
Yeah.
There's this really really famous picture on the internet, like what electricity is going to do to us humans, and then it's such a farce, right? I mean, it's just women and children dying of electrocution and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, we've always had these people, but what can you do?
I just don't understand the world. Like, it doesn't make much sense, does it? Like, you don't know what to believe anymore. Like, if you really do your research, you realize 5G it cannot be harmful, right? Like, it doesn't make much sense to be harmful because it doesn't transmit enough energy for it to be harmful, right? Like, it's on the radio wave spectrum, right? Like it, and
but it's the same. Like, there are some people who believe that the Earth is flat. So
nobody really believes. I don't believe that people believe
it. There is actually a huge amount of people, and the funniest part is that they believe that the Earth is flat. But they believe that the Mars is round. They believe that the moon is round. They
but
believe
not necessarily.
That the sun is round.
Like, some people could believe everything is
they
fake.
Know
like
that is round.
Yeah, but like
not the Earth.
Some people just, no matter what proof you come up with to prove that the Earth is not in fact flat, they just won't believe it. They say, "Oh, it's the CIA. Oh, it's the, they want to keep us, locked in the government and Soros and whatever." It's like you cannot. And I don't think we should just pay attention to these people because they're in their enclosed world. And I know, like, Twitter and Facebook and all these YouTube and whatever, they have like information next to videos, what is a fact and what isn't, and there are some people no matter what you say, you just cannot prove what is true. And as long as they have, they don't need to convince you that the Earth is flat. They just need to convince you that you shouldn't believe everything what you are told, yet you believe them that the Earth is flat. It's like they make doubts, like divide and conquer. This is what they use, and people have to pay attention how to avoid this. But I don't believe
this is
people
fallacy,
believe.
To be honest.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, it's just, there are so many different theories that are so ludicrous that you cannot believe in that, yet people do believe in that. So just as flat Earth and I don't know, vaccine will cause what is it called, autism and whatnot. I mean, there are so many different ideas that it's not just bad but like dangerous to humanity in a way, especially when you look at this anti-vaccine movement. I think it is incredibly dangerous to humanity. I mean, I think there was like this case in New York that a small ultra-Orthodox Hasidic Jewish community, they refused to vaccinate themselves, and then their kids got polio. I mean, polio that was eradicated in the 1940s, and things that hasn't existed for so long time, and now it's causing incredible harm for no good reason, just because of stupidity. I mean, we are becoming so smart that we are, at an incredible rate, we are becoming more and more stupid in a way. And that's really funny, I think. I mean,
also, the better we live, the more we forget how humanity is supposed to struggle. Like, humanity should have something to struggle with, not just on a personal level, but on a big communal level as well. Because, like, if I were to go and be the president of Hungary or the EU or UK, United States, whatever, I would make sure I don't divide people. like what I would do is set a common goal. Like, let's go to the moon. Let's do this. And people are
What
gonna
if
have.
people don't agree with that?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying is people are never going to agree, but we should still do something what like gets us together, what we can all agree on. Because like I just think in the future, no one's like just for the sake of it. They just want to agree. No matter what you say, they just don't want to agree because we haven't really got anything to struggle against. Because we live in such a good we live in so good times. There are no wars, nothing. It's just people just go online to search for trouble, you know, and they just because our lives are too easy, man. So I think it's not good. So, and this is why, you know, like the Jordan Peterson kind of people who everybody looks up to, but he's still being framed like it's people who say the truth, that to take responsibility, to how to live your life, to have a like you shouldn't be happy, or what you shouldn't look for happiness. You should look for purpose. And it's like shit. Like he's right. Like it's so easy to see. Yet you didn't see it because you were blinded by something. And when you realize, like, oh, like he's right, and it's not so difficult. Like it's actually so easy. Simple, yeah. And this is it. Like have a purpose in life. When you wake up in the morning, what you want to do? Like I bet 8% of the people in the developed world who have a good life have nothing to wake up for. If they just wake up, go to work, go home, drink some wine, enjoy, right? You know, Netflix and and this is it. They're just being entertained and mindlessly repeat the same cycle, and they haven't got a purpose. And this is what people like. If they would realize everybody should find their purpose or what they wake up for, I think the world would really change a lot. And I think this is an important message to share, to, you know, think about. Like, this is why I ask, what are you grateful for? Most people they don't really realize what they should be grateful for because they have,
or they don't appreciate it.
Yeah. So, what do you think about this?
To be honest, I think this is a very good note to end the podcast in a way, because I think this is a very positive note that people should strive for meaning in their life and strive for finding a purpose, whatever may that be. I mean, and try to create a purpose that, you know, helps people and creates value for people. I think that's a really, really great idea.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So do you want to end the podcast on this note then?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to stop.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's only 18 minutes. I just like as a finisher, maybe like this is what I thought. Also, people don't realize that they are mortal, like that they're gonna die one day, and if you could just do maybe the top 3 things, like if you would know that you would die, let's say at the end of this year, like on New Year's Eve or whatever, like you would know for sure. What's the top 3 things you would want to do? Because this is a good way to realize.
I think I would just, like, for the first part, I think I would just travel a little bit and then just be with my family and with my loved ones. I mean, that's it, I think. I would love to see, you know, like the Aurora Borealis, for example, or I don't know, go South America or see some stuff in Southeast Asia. I think that would be really interesting. But at the end of the day, you know, I would just love to spend some more time with my family and with my loved ones and enjoy as much as possible, you know, the last days that you can have. So I think that's what I would do, I think. Just travel and be with people who matter the most.
Yeah, I agree, you know, that's good. But the reason I think this is a good question is because it makes you realize what your priorities are. Because like I mean, I don't know about every people, but I bet most people, like let's say our age, in their mid-20s, is they just don't really think every day about death, because like we live in such good times, as I said before. Like hundreds of years ago, people and like people you knew used to die every day, and death was part of life. Like death was like somehow like celebrated. It was part of life. But now when someone dies, it's just a tragedy. But it really is. But it's part of life, isn't it? Like once you're born, you're gonna die. Like everybody deep inside the head, they know that nothing lasts forever. Like everybody who you see today is gonna be dead 150 years from now, guaranteed. No, like 150 years. That's like what, like 3 average lifetimes, or like, well, not average, but a bit over.
The way.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, but it's like 2 people from. So your grandchildren, when he dies, like no one from today will be alive by that time. So it's like nothing lasts, not even the universe. So it just makes you help you put things into perspective. And this is why I asked, it's like, what do you really want to do? Like to focus on your life, because we get lost in doing the everyday. So anyway, that's my two cents. All right, okay. Not the best note to end on, not the happiest, but I think the most meaningful.
It's important.
So I'm happy with that. So yeah, thank you very much for the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. It was really nice.
Yeah, it's nice to talk. Like we would talk anyway, but this way it's more.
It's more recorded.
Yeah, well, like you can like share your thoughts, and maybe when we look back, maybe 30 years from now, or when our children will watch this video, it's like you're just gonna realize how different you were thinking and how much has changed. I think this is for history. This is what I like to say. This is for history.
That's a good way to put it. I think. Nice time capsule.
Yeah.
Reporting from coronavirus.
Yeah. When people.
But anyways, thank you so much for the podcast, and thank you for listening. And see you guys at the next podcast, I guess. Yeah. Well, hopefully sometime soon, or sooner when the one before. All right. Thank you very much for everything, and then see everybody soon. All right. Peace out, and enjoy your day. Thank you.